And our final main topic today is submitted to us from Matt and Kaleb Graham, who writes, "Hey, John and crew. Just read that the Hollywood Reporter just released an article stating that Akira has been put back on the shelf again. Do you think that it's finally dead? I am really bummed out." All right, thanks a lot for that message, guys. Listen, part of the package of that big Thor 4 announcement that got everybody excited was the unfortunate casualty of this news with Taika Waititi coming over. And that casualty is once again Akira. Akira has now been once again put on the shelf. And what they're saying is indefinitely. Here's the actual story that came out. Sources indicate that after a brief delay, the studio has pulled the plug on production indefinitely for the classic anime adaptation, which was set to begin later this fall. Thor Ragnarok helmer Taika Waititi was on board to direct, and the studio hopes that Akira can get back into production once he's done filming Thor 4. Multiple sources close to Warner Brothers found this week's announcement of Waititi directing Thor 4 to be surprising, with one person adding they were caught off guard by Waititi's decision to focus on the Marvel property as Akira was getting closer to production. Rob, there have been almost as many false starts for an Akira project, not as many, but almost as many as The Crow. They have tried to get this thing going for years. They've had many different people attached to it at one point. It looked like this Taika Waititi incarnation was going to be the one finally to make it go. And I'll be honest with you, I was really surprised that they were even going to give Akira a try, given the track record recently of attempted anime to live action Hollywood conversions have not had the best success. There's been a lot of controversy about how do you handle a film like this, all this kind of stuff. They attached to Waititi, which got me interested. But now it's back on the shelf, and the dreaded word in PR, indefinitely, which is just another way of saying we're scrapping this. I believe that's just another way of saying they're scrapping. And they're not saying Taika Waititi will get back to it after Thor 4. They're saying Warner Brothers hopes he'll come back. Clearly, it doesn't look good for this. Rob, a couple questions. Number one, what do you feel about this Akira film once again being put on the back burner indefinitely at this point? Are you surprised at this move? And do you think that this film, let's face it, at least in the next 5 to 10 years, do you think this film's even going to get made at this point?
I love Akira. I love the manga series. I love the anime. I love the movie. The movie was the first thing I ever bought at Comic-Con.
Wow.
30 years ago, I bought the import Japanese Laserdisc because I'd heard about Akira. I'd never seen it. And I was blown away by it. And what's interesting is we commandeered a Japanese exchange student my first year at USC. We dragged him to my house and made him sit there and translate the whole movie for us. We did.
That's awesome.
We did. And I bought the Comic-Con 1988. But I didn't think Taika Waititi was the right director for this movie. This movie needs a visionary director who's obsessed with Akira that wants to make this film. This is a movie that the studio has been trying to make. And why wouldn't it? Sure, I'll come on board your giant anime adaptation. But the studio really doesn't want to make the kind of movie. The first thing they try and do is change it. We'll set it in New York. We'll do it here. We'll do it here. We're gonna cast Keanu Reeves as Kaneda, who was like 35 when they were going to do that. They don't want to make. This movie is about high school students. It's about high school gang members that run afoul of the government. They don't want to make what Akira is. They like the idea of making Akira. They don't really want to make what Akira is. They want to change it and turn it into something else. And ultimately what they find out is that it doesn't really make sense if you want to age it up and trying to change it. So that's why it never gets made. Creatively, they always hit a wall, and it's happened with everybody who's ever been involved. I read in this article that it had to do with, well, we're not sure about the ethnic casting in this day and age, like how would we do it? And it's like, why are you thinking about that now when you're down the road? I mean, why don't you look at it and go, this is what Akira is, how are we going to make this movie? I don't think they can do it, John. I don't think this movie's ever going to be made in America. I'm happy to eat my words, but I didn't think Taika Waititi was a good hire. He was hired, what, 2 months ago? Now he's gone. I don't think he wanted to make it. He's just like, yeah, I'll take that. Throw me a big paycheck my way.
He said he's been a freakish, huge fan of Akira ever since he was a kid. Like,
well, that's true. He might be, and that look, it's been around obviously for a long time, and maybe he was. Maybe and the idea. I'm sure he came in and go, let's do this, and then the studio's like, we don't want to do that. I just don't think it's ever going to get made, and I love it, but I don't think it's ever going to get made.
It's tough. Because this is one of those properties that there is no scenario here that you can propose as a studio to an audience that's going to make everybody happy.
Right.
There's just no way to do it. Like, you're either going to go one direction and you're going to make one group of people happy and make another group of people really unhappy, or you can go in the other direction and you can propose 10 different directions. This is a no-win scenario. This is one of the reasons why I always was a little bit curious about trying to do this, because there is just so much potential for an eruption, to be honest with you. I mean, look, you make it really true to the original. All right. You're putting your box office at risk. You're talking about making a really expensive film with a lot of track record proven elements that could really hurt you in the box office. You make those adaptations you need to make in order to increase your potential for box office, and you're going to make a lot of people who are fans of the original very, very unhappy. There just does not seem to be a win here. And that's why I think if I was a studio exec, I would probably, now I'm all for remaking everything. I don't care. But I got to admit, if I was a studio exec on this, Rob, for all the reasons you're stating and more, I'm taking a pass on Akira. Because I just don't see, we talk in sports analogies a lot, I don't see our path to victory here. I don't see what strategy we can lay out that gives us a really positive chance at success. There's chances for success, but really high chance for success, I don't see a way to do this that gives us that. Now, a lot of the Puritans will say, yes, there is. Just make it the way the animated one was. Just do it to that. That's success. I'm sorry, no. That doesn't give you a high chance for success. No. A chance for success? Sure. Yeah, a chance, yes. It's possible, it could. But the risk to reward ratio is really unfavorable, and it's tough. That's why I'm not surprised to hear this thing got pulled. I'm not. I was a little bit surprised to hearing about Thor 4. I'm not surprised this thing got pulled. So I'm going to lean towards, I don't think this thing gets made.
Yeah.
With the language of the statement, the indefinite word being thrown out there, which is just poison, I don't think it gets made. But listen, guys, I'm curious to know, do you guys think this will get made? And that is the topic of today's question of the day. Our question of the day is really simple, guys. With Taika Waititi now moving over to go and do Thor 4, do you think this Akira movie will ever actually happen? I put this up just before the show started. About 1,100 of you guys have already voted. 32% of you are saying yes, you still think Akira, the live action movie, will happen. But 68% of you right now are saying, no, we don't think Akira will happen. I'm going to leave this up on my Twitter account there, guys. You can see that is just simply at John Campea. I'm going to leave that up for a couple hours. So go on over there and register your vote. Do you think that this movie is actually going to happen? Rob and I clearly both feel that it's probably not at this point. All right, guys.